I'm back down at the river mouth again, and it's pretty exciting. We're starting to get little puddings in my net on this side, little fist-sized clumps of whitebait, and I'm the only one over here. There's no one else on this side of the river yet. There's about 8 or 9 people on the other side, scoop along the front. I don't think they're getting diddly squat over there, so it's pretty classic. Slowly lift my net out of the water, give it a little shake as if there's hardly any whitebait in there, and the thing's, you know, a good fist size pudding in the bottom of it. It's awesome. Springtime's arrived. That's pretty good. I like springtime. The deer start to poke their noses out of the forest, and just around the corner the kahawai start to run. The whitebait are here. There's longer days, more time to get shit done. Never enough hours in the day over winter, that's the problem. So it's good. We get to work harder and later on into the evening. Oh joy! Do all those projects around the house I keep promising my wife I'll knock on the head. Tomorrow has finally arrived. Better get back into it. The tide's now almost all the way in, and the whitebait just stopped dead. It went good for about 20 minutes, then boom, just stopped. I guess once we lost the back pressure or the back current, the whitebait just all kind of went out the middle. Who knows? But they're still chipping away on the other side. Ended up with, no, maybe 4 kilos, so I'm happy. Have to go to work now. Well, you can call rafting work anyway. So I'm currently driving to work. I'm pretty lucky. I managed to persuade a couple of lovely ladies from Texas to come to work with me today, but just don't tell my wife. It's a hard job, this old rafting business. You don't mind if I put you on YouTube, do you, girls? Probably one of the only raft guides in New Zealand, or the world for that fact, that has to work hard before they even get to the bloody river. Had to drag this damn raft from that van way over there. Still got 100 metres to go to get to the river. The river used to flow down here, but the lovely farmer, thanks Daya, diverted the river so it didn't wash all the grass off their paddocks, which is fair enough, I guess. More grass for the deer to graze on. Saw a couple of deer on the river yesterday, but we didn't have a gun. I don't think we'll see any today because it's not raining. It's quite warm, windy. But I think I'm going to have a float down in a couple of days and see if we can snaffle a yearling or two. Back to work. We've just spied a goat on the side of the river. There he is. Doesn't he look delicious? I was going to bring my gun today, but seeing as I was going to work with a couple of nice ladies, I didn't realise they were from Texas. Yeah, they're probably packing guns as we speak. If I had known they were from Texas, I would have brought my rifle and we could have all had tasty, delicious goat for lunch. But next time. So how's your raft trip been, ladies?
Great. Yeah, well, really good. Lots of fun. It's so good.
I didn't make them say that either. They didn't even know I was recording. So how's your raft trip really been, ladies?
Still great. Excellent.
Oh, still great? Oh, awesome.
Yes.
That's what we like to hear. So tip of the week is identifying your game trails. Now the deer will use those same game trails when they return to an area. So if you can find out where the game trails are in your hunting area, you know exactly where to wait to ambush the deer as they move on to their feeding area or as they're moving through the forest. Now these game trails in really steep country will quite often be on a ridge. If it's flat country, they could be anywhere. And another really good technique to use to find out which way the deer are traveling on these game trails is to look at the grasses. Now if you look at these grasses here, you'll see they're all swept in a V towards me this way. It means the animals walked this way last time there was an animal moving through here. So if you can identify what trails the deer use to move onto their feeding areas and what trails they use to move off, that's going to help you a lot. And the deer won't always use the same trail to go onto a feeding area and go back to their bedding spots. They quite often do a big loop Sometimes I will use the same trail. I'll go down that trail and back up that trail, but quite often they'll do a big loop when they feed. So you've just got to figure out which way they're moving, either by looking at their footprints, which way they're traveling, or looking at which way the grasses are swept. So if you can identify these game trails, just follow them for a while. If there's fresh prints on that game trail, if it's a main game trail and there's a mob of deer, you can quite often track the deer down to where they're bedded up without the help of a dog. If you've got a dog, even better, but if there's a lot of deer in the area, you don't necessarily need a dog to be able to track deer down. You can just follow that game trail, and they'll generally lead in a straight direction back to their bedding area. They don't tend to deviate much. They go in one direction and they'll keep heading in that direction. So if you go off the trail, just zigzag until you come back on it. Now right here we're standing on an old rutting pad where the deer have been having nookie. Some kind of bird skull, pretty neat. Might take that home, put it on the mantelpiece. So this is an old rutting pad. Once again, if I come back to this area in the raw, I can expect a stag to be hanging around. You can see where these kamahi trees have been thrashed. There's a lot of old browse mark here. So that tells me that the deer also feed in this area. Now this is probably going to be quite a good place to come back to in the raw. If the stag's still living here, that is. He may have been shot already. Hard to say. I've decided to do a new weekly segment, which is ropes and knots. A lot of people carry ropes with them out in the backcountry when they're in really steep bluffy areas. Tar hunting's a classic. Quite often I might carry a rope if I know I'm going to be in some really steep country. That means we can access some places where other people can't. So I'm going to show you a really basic knot this week. It's called the bowline, or the bowline, or the bowline, whatever, however you want to say it. So the bowline, the advantage of this knot is that it's quite quick to tie. It can handle really heavy pressure, and it's quite easy to undo after tying. The disadvantages are that it can shake itself free, and it's not a super strong knot, but it's not too bad. So the bowline, pretty easy to tie. You get your length of rope, say we're tying it around something, you put the rabbit, this is the rabbit by the way, you put the rabbit around the tree, and then you make a hole for the rabbit. Now what the rabbit does is he goes through that hole, around the tree, and back through the hole. There we go, and that is the bowline, or the bowline, just like that. But as you can see, if it's got a lot of movement on it, it can shake itself loose and come undone. Now the reason I'm showing you this knot is because you can make an even better knot out of the bowline called the double bowline on a bite. Now this is a really good way to make a harness for yourself if you need to lower yourself down a cliff or lower someone else down a cliff. Now to do this, you want to get a big bite of rope or a loop of rope about as long as your arms are spread out. So if I was making a harness for myself, I'd go like that, and this is where I'd be tying the knot, right here. Now you want to just tie that bowline again, so where your hand is at the end of that straight out bit there, I'm not sure if you can see that in that angle, right there, this is where you want to put your little loop. So make your little loop, and then this rabbit comes back down, he goes through the hole. Now leave these two loops hanging out, that's where your legs are going to go. Rabbit goes around the hole, through the hole, sorry, around the tree, and back through the hole again. Okay, so now we have the double bowline on a bite, and this now becomes a harness. I'm going to show you how that works. Alright, there we are. So this is how this works. That goes in front, that goes around your waist, and then one leg goes through here, one leg goes through there, and you pull that up around your waist. These bits goes through your leg, bang. Now you have a harness, and you can lower yourself down the cliff, or you can pull someone else up a cliff. Pretty nifty, isn't it? So that's the double bowline on a bite.